Our top story is coming in from the Assam-Mizoram border. Tensions continue between the two states over the unprecedented 26 July clash between police of two states. India Today has now spoken exclusively to Mizoram Chief Minister Zoramthanga to know what led to the clash. Zoramthanga is blaming Assam for the flare-up, even accusing the neighbouring state police of using light machine guns at the Mizoram police personnel. The Chief Minister says Assam police captured the camp of Mizoram police. When Mizoram police went to negotiate, local residents came down with sticks, along with the Assam police personnel resorting to lathi charge, even fired tear gas shells. The Chief Minister has said that on July 24th, prior to that incident, during the meeting with Home Minister, both states had agreed to resolve the issue, but just 2 days later, Assam started the flare-up. Mizoram police, meanwhile, has even booked Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma on charges of attempt to murder and criminal conspiracy. FIR has also been filed against 4 senior Assam police officials, 2 bureaucrats and 200 unidentified Assam police personnel. Assam also, in return, has summoned 6 officers of the Mizoram police to join the probe on Monday. Assam government has issued directions to check all vehicles entering into the state from Mizoram, even issuing a travel advisory.
I am very happy if filing a FIR against me can resolve the Assam-Mizoram border dispute. I am extremely happy. If police give me notice, I'll go and I'll join the investigation. If any notice is served to me, I'll go walking to Bhairanki. I'll start my Padajatra from Silchar and I'll reach Bhairanki. And I'll give my key, arrest me. If my arrest is going to resolve the dispute, why not arrest me today itself?
After undeclared economic blockade from Assam towards Mizoram stopping its supply, now the Mizoram CM has appealed the centre to intervene and prevent for making it another Berlin. While speaking to India Today, the Mizoram Chief Minister Zoramthanga here at his residence. I'm here in Mizoram, in Aizawl, right outside his residence, and while speaking to me, he did say that it is time for the centre to intervene. However, he also said that during the Shillong meeting on 24th, despite the meeting that we agreed to solve the crisis, the border dispute between two states amicably, on 24th July, the Assam police personnel, the armed police personnel did enter in the territory and captured the police outpost of Mizoram, and that led to this entire brawl that also resulted in injuring 2 personnels from the Mizoram side. The Chief Minister now appealing centre to intervene immediately, as now there's going to be a crisis for the state of Mizoram, particularly after the economic blockade that is being seen from the Assam. Remember, largely the supply of the Mizoram comes from Assam through different routes, but at the moment only North Tripura border is accessible, and that could perhaps lead to the crunch of supplies to the state of Mizoram. The Chief Minister, through this India Today, in the conversation with me, has appealed the centre to immediately step in and try to resolve this issue under the umbrella of the Home Minister, with 2 Chief Ministers, both from Assam and Mizoram, having dialogue and solve the issue amicably. In Aizawl, at Ground Zero with Sanjay Kumar, I'm Ashutosh Mishra for India Today.
Ashutosh Mishra also spoke to Mizoram Chief Secretary on the issue of FIR against Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma. Listen in now, to which the Chief Secretary says that he is likely to withdraw the FIR.
Chief Minister of Mizoram did not approve of the this mentioning the name of the Honorable Chief Minister.
Will you withdraw the case against the Chief Minister?
Well, he advised me that, because I was also not that aware before this was filed, he suggested that we should have a relook at that mentioning the name of the Honorable Chief Minister. I will have a discussion with the concerned police officers who are filing that FIR, and if there is no legal hitch in that, we would like to remove the name of the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam.
But tensions for now have clearly escalated over the 26 July border clash. There's a big move in which Mizoram police decided to file an FIR against Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, and the charges also very serious: attempt to murder and criminal conspiracy. Assam police summoned 6 Mizoram police officers. So therefore, both state governments at this point staying extremely defiant for their respective situations. Take a look at this special report.
Bullets fired. Stones hurled. Tear gas lobbed. Cars and buses damaged. Violent clashes between Assam and Mizoram police, a first of its kind incident in independent India. The unprecedented deadly face-off took place on July the 26th, and not a day has passed with both governments blaming each other. Now raising the stakes even higher, Mizoram police has filed an FIR against Chief Minister of Assam Himanta Biswa Sarma. Charges of attempt to murder and criminal conspiracy slapped. Reacting to the FIR, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said that he is happy to join any investigation, but asks why the case is not being handed over to a neutral agency. Along with Chief Minister, 4 senior Assam police officials, 2 bureaucrats and 200 unidentified Assam police personnel have been named in the FIR.
This is bad in taste. This does not give a good impression. This does not put things in a good perspective also. So let good sense prevail on them and let them understand and realize that they have committed a mistake. Once they realize that they have committed a mistake, then I think that there will be a situation where we can start discussion.
The Assam government also is in no mood to relent. 6 deputy commissioners and SP rank officials of Mizoram police summoned on the charges of distributing guns and ammunition to locals.
हमारी जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है उनके सिविलियंस के हाथों में भी एक्सप्लोजिव्स हैं, गन्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो चुके हैं, एमिनेशन बहुत वो सिविलियंस में बांट दिए हैं. उनके काफ़ी सिविलियंस एक्स मिलिटेंट्स भी हैं, तो शायद उनको ट्रेनिंग भी रेडी मिल चुका है. बहुत उनके तरफ से आगे अग्रेसिवली मूवमेंट बढ़ रहा है, जिसके वजह से वी हैव टू स्टॉप देम एट सम पॉइंट.
Claims versus counterclaims continue between Assam and Mizoram. Speaking exclusively to India Today's Rajdeep Sardesai, Mizoram Chief Minister Zoramthanga accused Assam for July 26th flare-up.
When the two armed forces were firing at each other with machine guns, who will dare to be there? They are not the civilians. Civilians are certainly there, but it is the 200 Assam armed police and Mizoram armed police with their machine guns were firing at each other. And the reason is that because Assam policemen crossed over, tried to capture the cane, and firing started.
Anger is palpable on both sides. A BJP MLA from Assam's Kachhar district made a provocative statement.
আমরা যদি এখান থেকে এসেনশিয়াল জিনিস যে সমস্ত সামগ্রী এই সমস্ত সামগ্রী যদি আমরা না পাঠাই তো মিজোরাম পুলিশ, মিজোরাম সরকার, মিজোরামের মানুষ না খেয়ে মরবে.
The chief ministers of both the states have agreed to hold a physical meeting to resolve the issue. With Ashutosh Mishra in Assam Bureau Report, India Today.
Uttar Pradesh is an important state in national politics. It is heading to elections in 2022. It appears the election bugle has already been sounded because Union Home Minister Amit Shah is in capital city of Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow. He has laid the foundation stone of the Institute of Forensic Sciences. He planted a sapling to mark the occasion. Later, Home Minister Amit Shah shared the stage with Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and they addressed a gathering. In the evening, Home Minister is also expected to lay the foundation stone of the Vindhyavasini corridor project that will be in Mirzapur. After that, he is expected to offer prayers at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Now, Amit Shah's visit comes at a time when the Saffron Party will clearly want to maximize its preparation for the big Mahayudh of Uttar Pradesh elections. India Today has accessed a blueprint. There is a plan that clearly states BJP will want to improve its performance from 2017's achievement. The BJP has zeroed in on 80 assembly seats which have never been won. Assembly seats, for example, Raebareli, Akbarpur, Etawah will be on the radar of the BJP.
मैं उत्तर प्रदेश के चप्पे चप्पे में घुमा हूं. 2013 से 2019 तक उत्तर प्रदेश का मैंने दौरा किया है. मैं उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता को जानता हूं। हमने जो 2017 में वादे किए थे, सारे के सारे वादे पूरे कर उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता का आशीर्वाद लेने के लिए हम जाएंगे। और जो सपना देख रहे हैं उनको मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि भैया फिर से एक बार करारी हार का मन बना लो। यहां भारतीय जनता पार्टी की प्रचंड बहुमत से सरकार बनने जा रही है। मित्रों, उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर योगी जी के नेतृत्व में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार ने जो परिवर्तन लाया है, मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि गत चुनाव की तरह ही इतने प्रचंड बहुमत के साथ फिर से यहां कमल की सरकार बनने जा रही है।
On his mission to 2022 in Uttar Pradesh, Home Minister Amit Shah is reaching Mirzapur to lay the foundation stone of the Vindhyavasini corridor here in Mirzapur. At the same time, will also be inaugurating the ropeway facility. At the same time, he has laid the foundation stone in Lucknow of the Institute of Forensic Sciences. At the same time, in Mirzapur, by this program, he is going to lay foundation for a religious spot where the work will be done. Approximately 128 crore will be spent for this project. At the same time, with this visit, Home Minister Amit Shah is giving a strong message of development along with the Hindutva. At the same time, Mirzapur, a stronghold of Apna Dal, and at the same time BJP ally, is also looking as a caste arithmetic factor which will be very important for the BJP to win the battle in 2022. But with that, this visit has more meaning with the elections in Uttar Pradesh, but at the same time equalizing the balance as far as elections are concerned. In Mirzapur, with cameraman Sanjay Singh, Abhishek Mishra for India Today.
Punjab government has now announced that they will be reopening schools for all classes in the state from 2nd of August, that is Monday. Schools, of course, have been instructed to follow proper protocol to ensure COVID-19 appropriate behavior. Teachers who are fully vaccinated only will be allowed to physically take classes. The state government had allowed the reopening of schools for classes 10 to 12 from 26th of July. Not just Punjab, even the hill state of Uttarakhand has decided to reopen schools for classes 9th to 12th from Monday. Meanwhile, after reopening of schools in Fatehabad, Haryana, 6 students were tested positive, but they were asymptomatic and immediately isolated as per COVID guidelines. As per protocol, students will have to wear a mask, use sanitizers, practice social distancing, part of the basics of safety measures to be ensured when they return.
एक तो उन्होंने हमें वैक्सीनेशन तो दी नहीं है, कोई रिगार्डिंग वैक्सीनेशन से कुछ हुआ नहीं है हमारा, तो उनको करना तो चाहिए कुछ ना कुछ इसके साथ। तो या तो अगर वैक्सीनेशन अच्छा किया हो तो बच्चे जाना भी शुरू करें, नहीं तो जैसे अगर देखा जाना स्कूल में आज तक बच्चे बहुत थोड़े थोड़े आ रहे हैं, ये भी नहीं कि बहुत बच्चे आते हैं।
मैं 80% तो विलिंग नहीं हूँ अपने बच्चों को स्कूल भेजने के लिए। मानती हूँ कि फिजिकली और मेंटली अगर बच्चे देखें तो बहुत वीक हो गए हैं, उनकी ग्रोथ नहीं है। कहें कि सब रूम सैनिटाइज हो जाएंगे बच्चों को, ये प्रिकॉशंस नहीं हो सकती, क्योंकि बच्चा एक दूसरे के साथ कॉपी, नोटबुक, हर चीज शेयर करेगा, इवन टीचर्स के साथ, फ्रेंड्स के साथ।
अभी तक जो 10th और 12th की रिपोर्ट आई है वो अभी तक कुछ फाइनली नहीं हुई, और जब तक उनकी पूरी रिपोर्ट नहीं आती तब तक हमें पता ही नहीं चल रहा कोरोना वायरस के बारे में पूरी तरह से। इसलिए मेरे को लगता ही नहीं है कि अभी स्कूल खोलने चाहिए।
The southern state of Kerala continues to be at the centre of COVID spike in India. The state has now recorded over 20,000 daily cases for the 5th straight day, and that clearly has raised an alarm bell with the government at the centre. Kerala's positivity rate has been hovering between 12 to 13%. The state government, meanwhile, has ordered a weekend lockdown to curb relentless spike in cases. Government has issued a fresh order stating that micro-containment zones need to be set up in all places where cluster cases are observed. Meanwhile, while the Kerala government is giving out these directions, neighbouring Karnataka has made RT-PCR test mandatory for those coming in from Maharashtra and Kerala, 2 states reporting a high number of COVID cases. Government at the centre has set a series of advisories for 10 states with the highest caseload, imposing strict restrictions in districts with over 10% positivity rate and prevent crowds in these areas. Government at the centre has advised the state governments to ramp up COVID testing and vaccination.
Yeah, we had a discussion with the Central Committee. We have an elaborate discussion about this, our positivity testing procedure and also containment zone activities and also all prevention. We have given stress on preventive activities and all that. So they have some suggestions, of course, after discussing with the state team, they will give us the suggestions and report.
The centre was left with no option, considering the activities of the left government. They were running into a huge public relation exercise earlier, and their policy decisions are guided by a public relation company. If you have an elected government has a policy direction from a public relation company and then ensures fudging of figures and creating a Kerala model which does not exist.
And now an exclusive coming in from the Tamil Nadu-Karnataka border. India today visited Meghdatu, where a proposed dam has been creating friction between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Now Meghdatu, a gorge which is filled with huge boulders guarding Kaveri as the river flows for 3.5 kilometers before it enters into Tamil Nadu. Following the footsteps of former Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa, Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai had clearly stated that it is Karnataka's stand to build a dam at Meghdatu. Tamil Nadu has been consistently opposing the idea. In fact, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, in a letter to Yediyurappa earlier, had stated that building a dam at Meghdatu would hinder the flow of water from the catchment areas below Kabini and the Krishnarajasagar Dam. So this is a controversy there been for decades now between the two states. Take a look at this exclusive report.
In Kannada, Meka means goat and Datu means to jump. Well, what you see on this side is River Kaveri. After flowing through hundreds of kilometers, in this spot alone, it turns into a place where it is flowing through a narrow spot. There you could see not even in some areas 20 feet wide. And this is why for centuries people who have seen this spot have claimed that this is an area where even a goat can cross over the mighty Kaveri, jump over it, and that's why this place is called Meka Datu. However, this spot has turned into a huge controversy as both Tamil Nadu government and Karnataka government are fighting over a dam issue. Karnataka government claims that a dam must be built over this spot, anywhere in this gorge you could see over here, to store the water which could be later served for drinking purposes for Bengaluru city, the fast-growing Bengaluru city, and not just that, perhaps a hydroelectric plant as well. And in this spot, if you could see like a little further, it's not even wide, much as 20 feet. And for a goat, it will be easy to jump over this mighty Kaveri. For centuries, people in this area have seen this, and that's the reason they've named this place as Meka Datu, where Meka means goat and Datu means to jump, claiming that even a goat could jump over River Kaveri, the mighty river, at this spot. Yet, this is also a spot of controversy as two state governments, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, are fighting over an issue of constructing dam. Now, Karnataka government claims that they need to construct a dam over here to store water and provide it to the fast-growing Bengaluru city for drinking purposes, and not just that, also proposing for a hydroelectric plant to be constructed at this spot. However, Tamil Nadu government claims that it is a riparian state and already it is facing a lot of struggle to get its share of Kaveri water, and that's the reason Tamil Nadu claims that if a dam in this beautiful area is constructed, the water flow to Tamil Nadu will be completely cut off, and that's the reason they are opposing it. With video journalist Divyan, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
After a short break, I get you some interesting profiles